as a venture firm, as you're going towards making investments into venture, you're going to be managing, a portfolio of companies. You're already managing a portfolio of companies that you've invested into. When we met, it was at the family office conference in Montreal. So, I mean, we sat, we talked a lot. And one of the things you mentioned to me, which I still remember very clearly, because I think it was so insightful, is you mentioned that in a kitchen and, in business, there are just so many variables that you have to control. And to be able to understand the impact of each variable, you're going to have to be able to isolate it and then, tweak it and see the impact that it has and measure that. So how do you do that among all your companies, right? Like, how do you control the variables when there's so many moving pieces at the same time?
I think, and that comes with having to do that in my previous career, in
Right.
my previous life, is I had teams of up to or over 100 people.
Right.
And what I learned coming up, I mean, working was you can't talk to everyone with a broad stroke. I
Right.
can't talk to Jane the same way I talk to Mark, right? So I'm having the same conversation with potentially 100 people, but I have to say it almost 50 different ways, right? Because I can talk to certain people the same way, and
Yeah.
and that's what I try and do with our companies. It's juggling. It's looking at the numbers. It's figuring out how they are. One of the things that I think a lot of investors don't do is we're always asking our startups and our founders, how's the business going, right? How are sales? How was your month? The first question I ask my founders is, how are you? Like mentally, how are
Yeah.
you? Are you coping? Because it's a tough world, it's a tough life. And I wish
Yes,
as
it
a
is.
chef, people ask me that more, right? So that's what
Right.
I'm trying to bring to this is, how are you? The more people know that you care, and they know that we at Inverted, that I, Craig D Cruze, care about them, not about them making me a return. Because if they're
Mhm.
healthy, they're happy, they're taken care of, they're gonna make us a return.